Welcome to the Everyday Leader podcast, where conversations inspire action, growth, and impact. Hosted by two passionate leaders, Shannon and Conrad, this podcast is for those who strive to lead with purpose and integrity in their life. Whether you're navigating big decisions, seeking balance, or dreaming of creating change, we're here to help explore the tools, stories, and insights that help everyday leaders thrive. Join us each episode as we dive into the art of leadership at work, at home, and in the world. Because leadership isn't a title, it's a way of being.
Hello, Shannon. Welcome back to Everyday Leader, our podcast where we talk about leadership.
And today we really we want to remind our listeners, right, what we mean by leadership. Like the big, like really how do we define leadership?
Yes, and we get to be in a lot of different relationships with folks in the world. And that can be in the coaching context or our team leadership development that we do. And Shannon and I were chatting just briefly before this on some of the topics that have been coming forward. Of course, maintaining confidentiality, but looking at trends. And this week, for me, there's been a lot around transition and family, meaning a significant other, a mom, a dad, declining in health. And
Yeah.
So that was the trend we popped, and then it had us think of and remind ourselves, as well as all of us, what is leadership? Because we often compartmentalize that to say, oh, client shows up, or I show up and I'm supposed to talk about this thing at work, or I'm supposed to talk about my leadership capacity in that way only.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and we consider leadership to really be how we choose to move through life, being at choice and being intentional in the way that we move through life and all parts of life. So it's a very holistic view on leadership. So when we're talking about something like caregiving, family transition, those are things that are very real aspects of leadership.
Yes, because and I appreciate you bringing in the holistic word, Shannon. We know that a part of one's life impacts the other part.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going through a challenging time in transition with a mom, for example, declining health, that impacts the way that you show up as the leader, and they're all interconnected. So if we don't explore there to increase capacity, to build awareness, to have compassion, it's difficult to compartmentalize that only into that one part of the person, because we're interconnected, and it impacts the way we show up in work or in school.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like, we know, even just hearing you say that, I'm like, oh gosh, I can even just feel in my body how there is resistance to that, right? That oftentimes we feel like, or I feel like I have to compartmentalize in order to just get through the day, survive, take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And so I think people have become really good at compartmentalizing and because they've had to, right? Or they have a belief, or we have a belief that, like, that's how we get through. I'm only going to be able to show up and get my work done today if I'm able to put this thing that's happening with my parents or my kids or another part of my life aside. And we're kind of socialized. Like, that's kind of a very normal thing, a very common thing, I would say.
Yeah.
And at the
It is.
same time, we know that if you do that, it's just becomes increasingly exhausting.
Yes.
That's the impact.
Yes. That's the impact. And that's also the opportunity for all of us as everyday leaders to name what's really going on, all for the sake of being able to process whatever it is to move through it and use that as information in the whole of our life. So,
Yeah.
no matter what type of situation, topic comes to you as an everyday leader, approach it with compassion, curiosity, and know that that time with that person is significant for their wholeness, right?
Yeah.
And moving through.
Yeah.
So our definition, or just to we said we're gonna just bottom line the definition of leadership through our lens, and that we use the word holistic. Shannon, you're really masterful at bottom lining concepts. So putting you in the light of what is the bottom line of leadership.
Well, I think, well, two things are happening right now for me. One, I'm having this, I'm feeling really compelled to answer your question. Like I want to get an A plus and an A
Uh,
from you in answering this
yeah,
question.
no, there's no score here. No, nobody gets to be wrong. Nobody gets to be wrong.
But the other thing is like, the other thing that just keeps coming up for me as we're discussing this is how often, how hard it is. It's one thing to know that, right? It's one thing for me to know that my leadership is everywhere. My leadership is holistic. Everything is related. It's the bottom line is really around integration and knowing that
Mm,
when we approach our leadership from this really integrated way,
mm,
it really surfaces our full capacity, our full resources, our full authenticity in all areas of our life. Like it's incredibly opening to do that. We know that from we know that from our experience. We know that from the way that from what happens when we coach other people. That's like this. That's like the essence of the transformation that is so exciting to see happen with clients and with others. And I'm kind of like, where do you start when you have that resistance and when you've been so
mm.
conditioned and have lived so much of your life surviving and leading by in this compartmentalizing, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one thing to know that it will be better and that there is on the other side of being able to break down some of these silos and become more integrated in the way that we approach leadership and our own leadership growth, that it will be better. But I think there's this like, God, it's so hard sometimes
Mm,
to do
mm.
that. And so it's yeah, Conrad, where do you
It's not.
advise people to start?
Well, it's not. I really appreciate this because it's not just the knowing or the intellectual that it is holistic. It is the way to increase capacity. That's the intellectual brain waves going through. What I hear you speaking about is the energy and emotion that is evoked when certain things happen and when leaders are confronted by certain situations.
Mhm.
The place to start, as we all long to increase our capacity to create our world, to be more at choice, to be more alive, to be integrated, the place to start when resistance comes up is I think in partnership, being able to be in partnership with someone who can listen deeply, who can help just the word be with, listen, and have compassion for wherever the other person is, because that can open the door to transformation, to softening the resistance a bit. And this is not a one and done. This is a journey, as we know. It's transformation and leadership capacity happens in micro moments, and it it can take time. So the place to start, bottom line, is be in partnership with someone who can witness your resistance, your struggle, your challenge.
Yeah, what I'm hearing in that is like, don't go it alone. Don't
Yes.
go it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Together is better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
together is better. Notice that you're trying to do it all on your own. We all do that.
We all do
We all
that.
still do that.
Is
Even if we know better.
Exactly. Leadership lesson long ago that we both experienced is asking for help,
Yeah.
right? And our relationship with that. And that can be tough to ask for help. And then this context is being able to be in partnership, don't go alone. And um, leadership is about all aspects of your life.
Yeah. I love that. It's also reminding me that you don't even need to know exactly what kind of help you need. Just help,
Yeah.
you know? Listening, someone to listen and to start there, to witness and to start there.
So we're going to pause here.
Well, I want you to tie this all together for us, Conrad. Can you put a bow on this?
It is it's messy, right? I mean, even in our conversation, part of leadership is messy and magnificent at the same time. It's the duality of it. And the bow to put on this is really just you said it, don't go it alone. Know that leadership is in all aspects of life. And when resistance comes up, that means you're in an important, significant place, a neighborhood to explore, all to increase your capacity.
Yeah.
That
Great.
might not be the prettiest bow, and that's okay, because we're in conversation together, figuring this out together, and we'd love to hear. We really appreciate your feedback. I know we've gotten some
Yeah.
blending it in, so we'd love to hear about this topic from you.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time.
Be well.